Hi everyone, Janie here. Welcome back to my garden. I am up bright and early as I usually am during the summertime because here in Northern California, Zone 9B, where I live, we get hot. We get so hot during the summer. It's going to be 95 degrees today. The next 10-day forecast is all in the high 90s, and we regularly get up into triple digits. So we deal with heat waves all summer long, and here we're used to it. We select plants that can handle the heat. We have our entire gardens hooked up to drip irrigation, and we just know that it's coming during the summer. Now, I've been watching the news, and I know a lot of you are dealing with a heat wave that's going across the country right now, and a lot of you are not used to this heat. Your gardens aren't used to this heat. So I thought I would come on today and I would share some of the tips and tricks that I've learned for dealing with heat and dealing with heat waves in my garden so that you can save your garden and kind of limp it through the heat wave and make sure that your plants survive. So the first and probably the most important tip I have for all of you to save your garden during a heat wave is to get up early and water. So it's really important to water early in the morning so that the water has time to seep down into the plant's root system before it evaporates because of the heat. So set your alarms, get out there and get out your hose. Now, if you have a drip irrigation system like I do, it's really easy. Just set your timer to go off at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. Make sure that you maybe bump the timing up a little bit and you're gold. If you don't have a drip irrigation system and you have to hand water, I'm really sorry, grab a cup of coffee, get out in the morning, and it's really important that you water slowly and deeply. You want that water to soak down into the soil so it doesn't stay on the top couple inches, because those top couple inches are going to heat up once the sun gets higher in the sky and it's going to evaporate. So if you want to water your plants during a heat wave, you need to make sure you do it slowly so it seeps down and your roots can stay moist all day long until you get another chance to water them. Next tip I have for all of you to save your garden during a heat wave is to provide shade for your most sensitive plants. Whether it's shade cloth or a garden umbrella or even a couple of stakes with an old sheet hung over it, by providing shade, it might just make the difference to save a plant through the heat wave. If you're in a big pinch, just go and get a rain umbrella and place it over a plant to protect it from the hot midday and on sun. Now, the hottest time of the day is anytime after noon. So by placing the umbrella in a western facing direction, that's going to protect the plant from the hottest part of the day, and it can actually decrease the temperature up to 15 degrees for the plant. So it really does make a difference. The next thing I do during a heat wave to save my garden is I stop fertilizing. You might think that fertilizing your plants during a heat wave and giving them an extra dose of nutrients will help them, but actually it will cause them more stress. Fertilizer will encourage new growth, and that new growth will be more susceptible to heat damage. So you want to stop fertilizing when you are going through a heat wave or you're predicted to have a heat wave. I actually stop fertilizing during the hottest parts of the year. I don't even fertilize my roses during July, August, and the early part of September, just because I don't want to stimulate any new growth that's going to be susceptible to heat damage. So give your plants a break, let them hunker down, and hold back on the fertilizer until things cool down a little bit. Another thing I like to do to protect some of my plants during a heat wave is I will actually move pots to a more protected area. Instead of bringing the shade to the plant, I'm bringing the plant to the shade. I will use my hand cart and I will move pots from a sunny location, even if it's a full sun plant, and I'll bring it over to a full shade location, like underneath my carport, or I have another area where I have a big tree that I will move pots to. So don't be afraid to put them there temporarily. Once everything cools back down, you can move those pots back out to where they're supposed to be. And remember, if you put a bunch of pots together, that's going to create a more humid environment and it's going to retain water better. Pots will evaporate and dry out more quickly than plants in the ground. So taking a little bit of extra care for these plants is really going to help you get through the heat wave. Now let's talk about overwatering during a heat wave. Yes, I said overwatering. It happens, and it can happen quite often if you don't know what to look for. So water your plants in the morning, like I was saying. Make sure that they have plenty of moisture, preparing them for the hottest part of the day. If you go out and you check your garden during the hottest part of the day when the sun is shining and you notice wilting leaves, I don't want you to water yet. Don't grab that watering can, don't grab that hose yet. Plants will actually let their leaves wilt as a temporary defense mechanism to the heat. It will actually slow down evaporation and protect them during the hottest part of the day. What I actually want you to do is I want you to wait until evening, wait until the sun starts to set, and check them again. What you might notice is you might notice those wilting leaves popping back up, and then you know that that was just a defense mechanism for those plants during the heat. If the leaves are still wilted as the day cools down, then you can grab your hose or grab your watering can and water that plant. But if you watered during the hottest part of the day, you're at risk of overwatering that plant, which can actually drown them and kill them with kindness, and then you'll actually lose your plants, not due to heat, but due to overwatering. The last tip I have for all of you to save your garden during a heat wave is to put these guys away. You don't want to prune during a heat wave. If you notice a leaf like this that's been scorched by the heat, just remember it's probably inevitable. Your leaves are probably going to get scorched. They're not used to this intense sun. They're not used to this intense heat. And you might be tempted to grab your pruners and to prune this guy off to make your garden look a little bit better. But trust me, you want to let your garden get ugly during this time, because what's going to happen is this scorched leaf is going to act like an umbrella or a shade cloth for all the leaves underneath. If I came through and I pruned off these scorched leaves during a heat wave, then all of these nice, beautiful leaves are going to get scorched as well. And if I keep going, I'm really going to damage the plant. So during a heat wave, put your pruners away. You don't want to cut any of the leaves off. Let them protect the other plants. Let them protect the rest of the plant and the leaves. And then once the heat wave is done, then you can come out and you can prune all of this stuff off. But for now, you are in emergency mode and you're just trying to limp these guys through. So leave these leaves on, leave the leaves, and put your pruners away. All right, everyone, I hope that helped. Those are my tips for saving your garden during a heat wave. I've been through so many heat waves, triple-digit heat waves here, and trust me, you'd be surprised what your garden can handle. The important thing is to stay calm and not get too stressed, and to water early in the morning. So I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a chance to get in your garden today. And stay cool.